based on last week's performance, United are very much in trouble, Danny. I mean, what was so concerning about United's midfield, really?
I think it was just a lack of discipline, really. It wasn't the performance of, Casemiro that we've been used to over, the past, I don't know, 7, 8 years when he was at Madrid and, what he produced last season when he came. So, for me, that is a big worry if, United to play like that again because, if you give James Maddison space, he'll score or he'll assist very easily. Is
it just a simple case of perhaps they haven't played in that particular midfield in a competitive game with Mason Mount there as well, with Bruno and Casemiro? Maybe that's just needs a bit of time.
I don't know what Danny was like, but it took me a couple of games to get 100% fit at the start of a season. And I think in terms of the midfield, Casemiro was on his own. I don't think he played well. I think he kind of dived in at times, but also he was left on his own at times.
There was so much space for him to marshal that he just couldn't keep up.
Absolutely, in that 4-1-4-1 formation. As I said earlier, I thought Martinez was really poor, and if Harry Maguire had put in that type of performance, then he would have got slaughtered for it. They've got to find a way to do better. I genuinely think, I think you're right, Michelle. I think it's, look, they've got to play together in competitive games. They've got to get used to it. Where Wolves are really good is they had runners with the ball, midfield, with pace. And I'm not sure Spurs have really got that. James Maddison is not your kind of pacey central midfielder that can run in the way that Wolves hurt United. But what you have got is somebody, and look at that. I mean, how can the midfield be so wide apart and there's so much space? And then suddenly a couple of seconds later, bang, they're going at the back four. They would have worked a lot on that. In fact, if there was one thing they would have worked on day in, day out, it would be that about being careful on the transition. And yeah, it was a very open midfield. I think there's a lot of players who are below form. Don't look as if they're 100% fit, but I genuinely think that they will put in a better performance today. Will it be good enough?
Do you think it was instructional that Mason Mount was asked to push that higher and so close positionally to Bruno Fernandes as well, that as though that they were occupying the same space, Danny?
I'm not sure, really. It's just, as I said, it's just not the typical United
It's
performance.
not in sync, that midfield.
No, not yet. And as Scott said, it does take time, for everybody to get used to each other. But I think the fundamentals are still the same, whether you're a new signing or not. And, just from one of the clips there, seeing, Varane push so high, he's nearly on the edge of the 18-yard box. And, that's... If he's going to stop an attack, then OK, fair enough. But, you've seen many times there where Wolves have broke free. And, as I said, Tottenham will absolutely love that, watching them highlights from Monday night.
Yeah, that gap in midfield will surely be exploited by Spurs if they don't do anything about it. Mason Mount, not a good game, or is that maybe a bit too harsh?
No, that's fair enough. It wasn't a good game. I don't think anyone really had a good game apart from maybe Wan-Bissaka, and he's someone who actually seems to get a lot of criticism. I think everybody else can say it was a 5 out of 10 at best. It wasn't good enough. Marcus Rashford is better out on the left, so that as soon as Højlund comes in, a lot of pressure on him though. But if he does hit the ground running, then not only have you got a Manchester United striker scoring goals, you've also got Marcus Rashford playing in his best position. Bruno wasn't up to it. Mason Mount wasn't up to it. Casemiro, we just said, wasn't up for it. And Martinez wasn't up for it. So there's a lot of players who were below par. So that first of all, you need to put in a better performance. But I also think they were very open and they would have worked on that all week.
Danny?
I agree. I'm a Man United fan, so for me, I'd love, for United to be playing well and doing well on all the players. But, watching the game on Monday, it did look like, there's new signings there and they're not quite, 100%, which, for not everybody's going to be 100% on day one of the season. But, if United are to improve on last year, they can't, play, big teams like Tottenham, how they did on Monday.